What's going on YouTube? So we just spent the day with the all-new 2023 Honda Pilot, and we want to know, how does this stack up in this very highly competitive segment? We're not going to waste any time. Let's go ahead and dive right in and see the answer to that question. All right, so let's get things started here with the exterior design. Now this is a place where I think Honda paid a lot of attention to what people like. People really like that boxier look of the second generation model that was kind of lost in the third generation, which looked a lot more like a minivan. Now it's back, and I'm really happy about that. We have a nice squared off look that reminds me of that second generation. So that new look starts up here in the front. You'll notice the grille has that nice trapezoid shape. You do have a gloss black finish through here for your elite trim level, and most of the models are also going to have this chrome strip which runs all across the top. Now, as we kind of move down to the lower areas, you'll notice we do have a silver accent down here. We have some more chrome accenting off to the side as well. And this is kind of an important area I want to talk about because we do have a new trim level called Trail Sport. That's designed for those of you who want to do a little bit more off-roading than running over a curb at Walmart accidentally. That one's got an extra inch of ground clearance and a lot of more overall capability, which we'll talk about later on. Now let's move on and take a look at our headlights as well. We do have a standard LED headlight for every single model. This is going to be a reflector LED with 3 distinct units, low and high beam. You have a daytime running light down here at the bottom, and then your turn signal indicator up there at the top, and then down below are your LED fog lamps. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about our wheel options. Here on the elite trim level, we do have a 20-inch contrast alloy wheel. This is actually going to be shared with the touring trim level as well. And as you can see, we do have a shark gray finish with the accenting blades that kind of come down into it. Looks pretty nice with this overall rugged look. You do surprisingly also get 20-inch alloys on the sport trim level, which is one of the most affordable options. Now as we rise above here, we will find standard blind spot monitoring, and of course the Elite, that's going to have all of the features. So we do have as well power folding, auto dimming, and a puddle lamp that's exclusive to this trim level.
Now that we're at the side of the Pilot, I do want to talk about some big elements because we did say this is the biggest Pilot ever, and that's because this is about 3 inches longer than the previous generation. We're coming in at an overall length of 199.9 inches. Yeah, they couldn't get that extra 1/10 of an inch to make it 200, but that does actually make this one of the largest things in the entire segment. That's larger than the Highlander, it's a little bit larger than Telluride, a little bit larger than Palisade. It's just going to be a big option for the segment. Now, as far as some of the design elements, you're going to notice it's very squared off and rugged looking. So we have some nice chrome accenting down here in the bottom. We have a little chrome piece around our wheel or window surrounds, and it is going to be squared off like I mentioned. All but the EXL trim level are going to have these nice roof rails up top. And then moving around to the rear design of this all-new Pilot, I will say it has a very nice and handsome look. It's not overly styled or anything along those lines, but it's rugged and tough looking, which is definitely what Honda was going for with this all-new model. So as far as some of the design elements, we do have a rear wiper right here. We also have blacked out Pilot branding in between the taillights. The text itself is also blacked out to give it that tough look. Then as far as our taillights are concerned, we do have partially LED taillights. You have a LED accent going through an LED brake light portion. However, your turn signal and reverse light are both going to be incandescent, which is something I'm not a fan of, especially on a fully loaded Elite model like this one right here. Now dropping down to the lower area, once again the same story is going to play out. It's nice and squared off. We have some rugged matte black plastic. We also have some silver accenting, and we're also going to have these trapezoidal exhaust outlets. I do really like the way these look. It kind of sets off the design. As far as your tow rating, you're looking at 3,500 pounds for front wheel drive, 5,000 pounds with all wheel drive, and that new Trail Sport trim level will come standard with a tow hitch. Now the Pilot will be a safe option even for those of you who might have failed your driver's test a few too many times, because Honda is throwing in every single one of your safety systems as standard equipment on the Pilot. So yes, that means you're going to have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beams, as well as adaptive cruise control, and new this year you're also going to have a traffic jam assist. So really advanced safety systems, and that is, like I said, on all Pilot models. One other thing I do want to point out before we hop into the inside is that new for all 2023 Hondas is you have 3 years of complimentary maintenance. But now let's go ahead and check out the all-new interior.
So walking up to this next generation Pilot, we do have a smart entry system on board with the brand's typical key fob, and remote start is also built into the fob itself. Then to get inside, just grab behind the door handle that will unlock it and fold the mirrors out. And take a look at that all new interior before we go ahead and climb inside. So first things first, of course, we got to talk about interior color and material choices. So the Sport trim level will come with cloth seating, the EXL and the Touring will come with leather seating, the Trail Sport will come with a durable synthetic leather seat, and of course the Elite is going to come with the nicest leather seat. This is the perforated real leather seat. And this does also have an additional color option versus the other trim levels. So you still can get black, you can still get gray, but this brown is exclusive to just the Elite. And as you can see, we do have color contrast stitching and piping throughout the seat. Now, as far as the seats themselves, they are going to be 10-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support, standard on every single version, including the top and Elite. And let's go ahead and look around the materials of this all-new cabin. So first of all, looking at the door trim, the design itself actually kind of looks similar to the outgoing generation. Something about the storage configuration, which, by the way, there's a lot of storage inside of this door, including a couple cup holders and a big place there, which you can lay a water bottle. Nevertheless, all through here, nice leather. It is finished in the same brown. Soft touch along the top. We have a kind of faux carbon fiber looking trim through there. Moving to the upper dash, all of that is going to be finished in a soft touch plastic. As we move to the middle, you'll notice a big patch of leatherette that's going to run all through this center section with a stitching detail finished in the same brown. And then down here on the lower part of the dashboard, I am surprised that here, even on the Elite, this is not going to be padded. It's going to be a hard touch plastic, but we do have a piano black trim which runs around the shifter versus some of the other trim levels. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and fire it up. Now right off the bat here, you will be greeted with one of the most notable technological upgrades of this next generation Pilot, and that is going to be our new 10.2-inch full digital gauge cluster. This comes on the Elite trim level only, and it is the same as what we've seen on some of the other high-end Honda products, such as the Civic. You can reconfigure it to a couple different ways. If you choose any of the other trim levels, though, that will come with the half digital, half analog setup with a 7-inch display on one side. And then up top, this is the only trim level which will come with the head-up display. We do also have rain sense wipers, and taking a look at our steering wheel, this is the latest Honda design, nicely leather wrapped. It is going to be manual tilt and telescoping on every single model, including the top end Elite. However, the Elite will have steering wheel heating rather, and the Trail Sport as well. But let's go ahead and take a look at interior storage, because this is a family 3-row, so that of course is super important. Opening up our center console, you know how Honda be. They give you all of the storage you could possibly want, and indeed we do have a ton. This console is huge. We got 3 water bottles in here, all these wires and stuff, plenty of space to spare. 2 cup holders up there in the front, very large center bin, nicely rubber lined. It is a wireless phone charging pad as well right there on that section. Got another little spot right there. And check this out, guys. This is back from the 2nd generation. We have the passenger storage shelf, so you can throw stuff up there. Very handy, and it is quite deep as well. Now heading back here to the shifter, we've got the same push button style as we did in the previous generation. Just press the D for drive, press again for sport mode. You can shift manually with the paddles on the steering wheel. Pull the trigger back for reverse. And when you do, you will also see another nice tech upgrade for the next generation Pilot, and that is a 360-degree camera system. So as you can tell, resolution on board here looks pretty sharp. We do have active trajectory, and you can switch some different angles right there using that button. You can, of course, activate the front camera. And one of the important things is that this does have a trail camera built in if you choose the Trail Sport model. So this will be active while you're off-roading, very helpful for helping you avoid all those obstacles like rocks, trees, things that you might scrape against. And then park is just the P right there, of course, and you do have electronic parking brake and brake hold right behind it. We also have our drive mode controller where you can cycle through the drive modes, including some of the new ones we have this year, hill descent control, and our auto start stop button. Do also want to point out you got your USB-A, USB-C, and a 12-volt outlet. And let's go ahead and take a look at our climate controls. So we do have a 3-zone automatic climate setup. Very easy to use, just twist these knobs to adjust your temperature. You have physical controls for everything, including that rear seat control right there. Then off to the side of that, you do have 3-stage heated seats. And if you choose the fully loaded Elite model we have today, that's where you'll get the seat ventilation as well. Alrighty, so the tech upgrades continue because we're getting ready to take a sample of the first branded audio system in a Pilot. Touring and Elite get the 12-speaker Bose Premium audio system. So let's go ahead and see if it's any good. Yeah, nice. That is solid. That is certainly very solid sound quality. Really fills up the cabin well. Plenty of bass. Okay, so let's talk infotainment. So as you can see, we do have the 9-inch display. You might know that if you have seen any of our previous Honda content, because Honda's putting this display in pretty much all of their vehicles. Lower trim level models are going to come with the 7-inch display. Starting at the EXL trim level, that's where you'll get the 9-inch display. You're not going to get the 12.3-inch display, though, that's debuting in the Accord. In just a matter of weeks, the new Accord will have a 12.3-inch display with a new infotainment system. This is going to be on the older style setup, just like some of the other Honda products, such as Civic. Nevertheless, let's talk about functionality. Wired Android Auto and wired Apple CarPlay for the 7-inch display. Wireless versions of both of those for the 9-inch display. And you do have a built-in navigation system as well. And here is the cabin talk system, and that basically just uses microphones in the front to project your voice all the way back into the third row via the speakers. Rising on up, we do have an auto-dimming mirror with 3 HomeLink universal remotes. And let's take a look up here at the roof. This is another nice improvement from the previous generation. We're looking at a large panoramic sunroof here on the Elite model. Actually, it begins on the Trail Sport trim level and up. But previously, if you remember, this was actually a dual panel setup. You could get a tiny sunroof in the front, then a second panel in the back. Now it's one large piece of glass, which is a vast improvement.
Well guys, pretty much just as important as the front seats are the rear seats and third row of this all-new Honda Pilot. So how is it going to stack up against the competition? Well, let's go ahead and dive into just that. As far as the space is concerned, let's hit that figure first. 40.8 inches of legroom, 40.2 inches of headroom. That does place it pretty much in the middle of the segment. It's going to be less legroom than Telluride and Palisade. It will be a little bit more than Highlander though, so you're going to be right there in the middle. And as far as how it feels, just in my position, I'm 5'9" for reference. This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". It does feel pretty solid. Never fret, I did bring my handy dandy flex ruler to Arizona with us, and we are looking at about 8 inches of space between my knees and the seat back, and that's pretty large. Now, as far as other features, let's go ahead and knock those out. We do have the fully loaded Elite Pilot, so let's go ahead and see what that throws in. We have vents here in the middle. That's going to be standard on every model. Our own climate controls are also standard on every model. And one thing I want to point out, the buttons have a really nice feel to them. They're kind of clicky, and that's a nice update for this Pilot. Off to the side of that, we do have 3-stage heated rear seats. That's a Elite exclusive feature. Dropping below that, we have a household style outlet, and we also have 2 charging USB ports, so you should be fine when it comes to those things. Now, you're probably like, well, Mason, does it have captain's chairs or anything like that? And what you're seeing right now is the 8-passenger bench seat setup. If you go for a touring or elite model, you will have this seat, and this is really cool. So let me go ahead and dive into some of the features it has. So you can use it as a regular seat. You can also just grab that little lever right there. That's going to fold this down and give you a nice like captain's armrest style. So you have a nice armrest here on the side. You have 2 cup holders in the middle, a little bit of space right there. But we're not done, because you can actually fully remove this middle seat and store it in the cargo department. So not only can you fully remove it, you can also store it inside of the Pilot, so you don't have to throw it in your garage or anything like that. So that's really nice. This is basically the same setup as you see on the higher end Acura MDX. Now, turning to your door trim, we do have a nice one. The upper part is going to be hard touch, when the front is going to be soft touch, so I'm a little disappointed by that. But we do have rear window sunshades. That's going to be included on EXL and above. This trim piece, leather going through here, leather on the armrest portion. We have a ton of storage down here, 2 cup holders, a little bit more storage, and then even more storage in the very bottom. Now, the third row is also very important, so let's check out that family aspect. Honda's always been very good about letting you have very easy entry into the third row, so you just press this little button right here. That electrically folds it and slides it out of the way, so that's pretty much as simple as it gets. Getting into the third row itself, I do want to talk about your space figure. We're looking at 32.5 inches of leg room, which is a good amount of space for the segment. That's going to be significantly larger than its chief rival, the Toyota Highlander, about 1 inch larger than the Palisade and Telluride. And as far as how it feels sitting back here, honestly pretty good. This seat is adjusted all the way back, and I have, I'd say, 1 inch or so of space between my knees and the seat back. My feet can also slide up underneath the seat. Really, the only thing that I'm not liking so much is the thigh support. I wish the seat was lifted up a little bit more, and that would give me some more thigh support. So overall, I would say this is fine for adults, actually. This is a little bit past in-law approved. Now, as far as your features are concerned, we do have 2 cup holders on each side, so 4 total. We also have vents and a smart charging USB port on each side. Now, coming up to your tailgate on the Honda Pilot, it will be a power tailgate on EXL if you go for the Touring or Elite. That will also throw in your hands-free opening abilities as well as the walk-away auto closing. But in order to open it up, you just kick your foot under the bumper, and as you can see, it does work quite well. Now, as far as the space itself is concerned in this Honda Pilot, so let's go ahead and dive into that. We have 19 cubic feet behind the third row seats. If we fold these puppies down, you will notice that we have about 49 cubic feet, and if you fold the second row down as well, you will be looking at a maximum of 87 cubic feet of cargo capacity, which is a very good figure for the segment. That puts it at the very top end. In terms of its rivals, it's going to be larger than that of the Highlander. It's going to tie the Telluride and Palisade, so you're going to have a lot of space in this all-new Pilot. Now, one thing I do want to point out is there are no handles to fold the second row from back here, so I did have to go walk up there and manually fold them down, which is something that would have been nice. But I did bring my tape measure. And it looks like we're sitting at about 85 inches of space between the front seat back and the rear area. So that means I'd say you're probably good to have a 75, 80-inch TV in this Honda Pilot. So you're going to have a lot of practicality. Not done yet, though. Check this out, guys. We have a really large underfloor storage. Now, as I mentioned in the second row, you can actually fold that middle seat and put it right here in this area. Honda says it's about 1.8 cubic feet if you choose to just have it as additional space, and you do have a 12-volt outlet on the left side. Your spare tire, I will also point out, is underneath of the bumper, and it is a full-size spare tire.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look at what is under the hood. Now, one of the really nice things about this new generation Pilot is that it is the most powerful Pilot ever. So what we have is a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6 engine, 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. That is up about 5 horsepower from the previous generation, so it's not a radical change, but it is a new engine and it does indeed have more power. Now, as far as your transmission is concerned, we do now have a 10-speed automatic transmission versus the previous ZF-sourced 9-speed automatic. And we do have standard front-wheel drive and available torque vectoring all-wheel drive. That system is going to be standard here on the Elite trim level, and it is also standard on the Trail Sport. Now, fuel economy for this new engine is actually going to be 1 mpg less than the previous generation. We're going to be looking at 22 combined with front-wheel drive, 21 combined with all-wheel drive, unless you choose the Trail Sport, and that one is going to be 20 combined. But anyways, guys, you know how this goes. So we want to show you guys the most content as quickly as possible. So that does mean that we are under a driving impressions embargo. So stay tuned. We are going to have a full test drive with all the information that you're going to want to know of how this all-new Pilot is out on the street. That's going to be coming to our channel very soon. But for now, out of respect for Honda and our fellow journalists, we are going to have to end the powertrain section here.
But now it's time to talk about the pricing for this all-new Honda Pilot. Is it going to be an affordable option for you and your family? Well, the Sport model is going to start at a little over $39,000, EXL $41,950, Touring $46,450, Trail Sport's $48,350, and this Elite is going to start at $52,030. And this particular tester, we don't have any options, but we do have a $13.95 destination charge, and that's going to mean our grand total is going to be $53,375, which is a pretty pricey option, but you are getting a lot with this fully loaded Elite model. And guys, that's going to wrap up our in-depth review of the 2023 all-new Honda Pilot. This is the Elite version that you've seen today, and hopefully you enjoyed watching, so please hit that subscribe button down below. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.